Hello, bright ones. It's Savi, and it's time for another IllumiNature energy reset. As you can see, I'm sitting outside with the forest behind me. The sun is rising over us, so the light may change, and the sounds may change, the bird chorus may change. And you know what? It's funny that we're talking about change. Everything may change. This is the energy that is really rising up right now. I feel like so many of us, the people that I've been working with during sessions, just family and friends, anyone that I've been talking with, even myself, my beloved, pretty much everyone on one level or another right now is really experiencing a deep soul cry. And it can be it can be a lot. These deep soul cries that we're feeling, it isn't necessarily super easy for us to discern what that is, or even if we have a sense of what the cry is, how does it fit into the context of the reality that we're all currently living? And when I say a deep soul cry, it's not a cry necessarily that is coming from anything scary or tragic. That our soul doesn't talk to us in that way. So when I say the word cry, I just mean many of us are feeling this deep welling, this deep knowing, this deep inner call toward something different. And I say toward something different because sometimes it is an unknown. We don't necessarily know what it is that we're feeling directly called to. And that can be very challenging for us as humans because we want to have a path. We want to have a clear path. We want to know exactly where it is that we're heading. And I'm really noticing in pretty much everyone that I'm talking with that we're feeling a deep inner call. We're feeling a cry for change. We're feeling a cry for things to be different. And yet we don't necessarily know what the context is, what the shape is, how it could possibly take form. And so we find ourselves feeling a call toward change. And that's not even surprising. Many of us that feel this way also see a need for change and really feel a call toward change across the whole landscape of what is happening on our planet Earth right now, across cultures, across social realities. Change is afoot. We can all feel that. So it's not surprising that we're feeling this from our deep inner landscape as well. And along with this call, what a lot of us are really feeling is a very deep need for connection at a level that many of us don't necessarily feel like we're experiencing. A deep call, a deep need for belonging, for relating in new and different ways. And we can feel this so strong at the core of our beingness that it can feel, especially for those of us who are super empathic and sensitive, highly sensitive, it can feel very challenging to feel that deep need and not see an immediate way for that to be a part of our lived experience and our lived reality. And that can leave us oftentimes feeling pretty alienated. There's been so many times, I'll be completely honest with you, there have been so many times in the last couple of years where I have said, I just feel like an alien. I feel like an alien in this world. I feel like the world that I see around me oftentimes doesn't feel like a fit to me. I don't know where my place is in it. I don't know what I match, who I match with. And I'm wondering if any of you have that experience. Those of you listening to this, especially if you know me, you may be surprised to hear that. You may think, what? I mean, Savi, you know who you are, you're so connected, you relate with people well, and all of that is really true. And this is not an either or thing. This is the thing that I think is so critically important for us all to recognize right now, that nothing is one thing or another thing. Everything that we're experiencing is a multiplicity. We don't have to be one thing and then be another thing. We are multiplicity humanity. That is what makes our uniqueness. Multiplicity humanity. That is a strange way of expressing that. But I think if you're really listening and you're feeling deep within, you understand where I'm coming from with that. So our experience is really meant to be both and, both and, both and. I've said this before. We're not meant to be single driven. We're not meant to be so linear in our thinking and in our experience. Things are not linear. We've attached ourselves to linear reality, and that's part of, I think, what rises up as the challenge as we're feeling these deep soul cries. Our souls don't operate in a linear fashion. There's no attachment to linear nature in the realms of our soul and our soul experience and the experience of who and what we really are beyond this earth, time, space reality. And I think our souls are awakened to that. I don't think that, I know that. And I think our souls are working to awaken us in our daily, everyday, mundane consciousness, to awaken us to that truth, to that reality. So I really see that happening, and I think that these deep soul cries that we're feeling, that we're experiencing from deep within us toward change, toward growth, toward evolution, we're feeling this because our souls are saying now is the time to awaken at a whole nother level. It is time for us to awaken beyond the mundane. It is time for us to awaken to the fullness of our consciousness and really allow that fullness to be expressed in our lived experience. And in order for that to happen, that is where change becomes necessary. And that, I believe, is what we're really feeling inside. We know the necessity for change. We know the necessity for transformation. And yet, the looks as if reality that surrounds us most of the time is still presenting to us as what was, even though we're ready for the what isness of what is coming and what is next. And that's an interesting juxtaposition because really there is no such thing as time. That's a whole other conversation for another time. But truly, again, to even explain this concept and the energy that's coming through with it, we as humans want to put it on a timeline. We want it to feel linear, and it just isn't. None of it is. There are multiple levels of shift and change happening all the time. And all of those levels of shift and change are happening in a spiral reality. They're not happening in a linear time frame. So we're experiencing a time where we're really feeling a lot of new ideas. We're feeling growth. We're feeling change. We're feeling innovation. We're having visions of change, of how things could be and how we might operate in a different and a new reality. And we do feel ourselves deep, deep down opening to the potential of what that could look like and how that could potentially unfold. And we're relating with all of that on deep levels within ourselves. Some of us are allowing that deeper sensing to come more to the surface, and we are doing some deeper inquiry to ask ourselves, where is my highest alignment in this? These are the questions that are important for us to be asking right now, because we can feel this deep soul call, these inner intuitive inspirations toward change and transformation. And as I said before, in the face of our current time-space reality and all that it's related with, our immediate family, what we've created as our family unit, what are our responsibilities, what is our current work frame, what does that look like, the jobs we're in, the careers we're in, the relationships we're in. And really, it can be when we feel a deep call toward change, and it really does feel like it's in the most accurate alignment. It's coming from the deepest part of ourselves, the depths of our souls. We want to be able to answer that call. And we sit in the reality that we've created for ourselves and we say, but how could I do that? I have so much to care for, to tend to. I have responsibility here. I have obligation. I'm committed to my life. I'm committed to my loved ones in my experience, and I'm not just going to throw caution to the wind and completely change my life on a dime and upset everything that surrounds me in the process. I can't do that. I have to be responsible. I have to take care. And what really comes through over and over again is, yes, there is that recognition and that understanding that we have created the reality that surrounds us. But as we create that reality, every moment forward is not created by the past unless we allow it to be so. What we need to do is create forward, trusting that if what we are sensing and feeling as great change from within us is truly coming from a place of supreme alignment, the highest alignment, and we are acting in accordance, connected accordance with our authenticity and our inner authority, sometimes it means we really have to trust that taking a leap is going to be for the benefit of all of those beloveds that we hold near and dear to us. It may not look like that immediately in the process, but in the full unfolding, there will be the highest outcome, if that is the intention for all involved, that will come to be. It will rise up as so. And this just comes through so strongly. And I've experienced this in my life. There have been major changes that I have made, that we have made, Mark and I, together in our lives, that I look back at now and I wonder, how did I have the courage to make those changes? We uprooted our entire life years back and moved our family across the ocean. And we didn't know how that would turn out, but we trusted that it was something we needed to do. We also trusted that we didn't have to be attached to a timeline around that. And that's really important. We get so, I think it's our human nature, and especially in our culture here in North America, we tend to very much, we create timelines on purpose. We have a goal. We set the course for that goal to become manifest. We set a timeline. In this amount of years, I will be ready for this shift. And then in this amount of years forward from that, I will be ready for this shift, and so on and so forth. And we have our lives so intricately planned that we leave no space for shift and change and evolution in our alignment. And that is one of the biggest mistakes I feel we can make as a humanity. Now, that does get challenging, especially again in our culture, because our culture is designed for this. Our culture is set up to these expectations to make sure that we are living our life according to plan, and not necessarily always the plan that we've put in place, but a plan that society puts in place, or a plan that culture puts in place, which puts pressure on us to abide by that plan and adjust our personal plan by societal imprints, societal expectations, and cultural expectations. And so really, I feel like what's coming through right now is for us to all tap in a little bit more deeply. If we are feeling that inner urge, the inner nudge toward change and toward something different, to not be completely afraid, shy away from it completely, but to give ourselves to it with some deeper inquiry, and to also assure ourselves as we're doing that, look, I'm not expecting change on a dime. I'm not expecting that I'm just going to upset the apple cart and everything is just going to, tomorrow everything in my reality looks different, and let the cards fall where they may. That's just how it's going to go, because I'm just going to rise up and make the change that I'm feeling inside. Maybe some of us will do that, but most of us are going to take the time to inquire deeply to make sure where the alignment is, where is the accuracy of the alignment. If we did make the change, it's human nature for us to posit and imagine what the potential outcomes may be. And we can do that, but we also sometimes limit ourselves by doing that and turn off an inspired alignment and an inspired innovative idea because we say, oh, nope, I looked at all the potential outcomes and I can't see that really being to the benefit of everyone involved. So I think I'm just going to dial that in and just like press delete and keep things as they are, because this probably is just better for everyone involved. We're just going to keep things as is. And we limit ourselves then, and we have to remember that we are creative beings, that we are unique and limitless beings. Society will tell us otherwise. The imprints that surround us tell us that we are limited, that there's a certain scope of what we are able to be and able to do in this lived experience. And Source will tell us quite the opposite. Source reminds us always that we are completely limitless in our nature. And for us to remember our limitlessness is where our power lies. So, as we are considering all of this, that was a lot that was just unpacked. We come back to the core of where we started this morning around change. And we just are going to invite ourselves to really entertain the potentials that bubble up within us. And to not dismiss something just because it feels so incredibly different or foreign to what we're currently experiencing. Give ourselves the time and the space and the energy to feel really deeply into what it is that we are meant to be in this world. Not even what we're meant to do. The doing will come naturally when we align with who we really are and what we feel most called to be from the inside out. That's so super key. So I'm just going to encourage us this week to really dive deeply in to the soul cries that are within us. Dive deep into that authentic space within us where our power lies, and to really trust ourselves to listen deeply. Trust ourselves to hear the inspired ideas that are bubbling up from within, and while we do, to nurture ourselves through that process and to say, it's okay, take your time. Take your time. This is new. This is new for us. Giving ourselves the dedicated time, the dedicated space to really listen and to really honor where the changes that we're being inspired toward may take us. What levels of fulfillment from within, not material fulfillment. If that comes along with it, perfect. But what I'm really inviting us toward isn't an up-leveling in the way, again, that culture and society deems as the way to go. I'm really calling for allowing an elevation of our soul expression through our lived experience more than we ever have before. That's it. What just came through, that is it. Allowing our soul expression to be more fully expressed than we have ever allowed it to be before. And encouraging others around us to do the same. That's huge. Setting a new pattern, a new precedent, a new way of being where we first listen deeply and honor the call of our soul. And as we hear the call of our soul, as we hear the call of the crows in the background, that is on purpose right now. I don't know if you can hear it. I'm sure that you can. Their calls, the energy of crow and raven, is energy for us to awaken to. There's magic and power, mysticism in their energy. And whatever they're working on in the background behind me, I feel is on purpose to the energy that is being stirred right now as we're conversing together. This energy of this message that's coming through, to hearken, to listen to the soul's cry. Listen deeply, and give your soul as much focused attention and loving awareness as you give anything else in your life. the depths of our soul speak to us and share with us everything that we really need to know and need to hear. Our inner guidance system is amazing and powerful, and this is where we need to place our focus, our loving awareness, and our loving care. Thank you for sitting with me today. There's so much more that we could unpack around this, and I know that those things will come forward in the days to come. Yeah, it would be so easy for me to just continue, but I feel like what has been unpacked right now is perfect for this moment. So please allow yourself space in the coming week to listen to the call of your soul and to take it seriously, to embrace it in, to listen lovingly, to really consider, what is it that I'm being called forward to? And when you hear wild ideas, things that you didn't think of before, impressions, you start to see and feel visions, impressions of yourself living what looks like a complete alternate reality, allow yourself to watch that movie. Allow yourself to deepen into those visions, to those impressions, to the feelings around them. It doesn't mean that it has to unfold exactly like that, but I promise there is powerful information inside of the visions and the impressions and the feelings that you're receiving that will help guide you toward what will become the expressed manifestation of your soul's call. I want this for all of us. I know what it is to listen to the soul's call. I know what it is to respond and to trust and to see the unfolding happen right before our very eyes in the most powerful, beautiful, and magical ways. There's never a time for us to stop doing this, and there's never been a better time to begin. Listen to the song of your heart and the soul's cry. Listen and respond. Thank you for being with me. I look forward to the next time we can sit down with nature and receive these messages that come in so beautifully and so powerfully. Take care and be well. I love you all so much.